Hey guys, welcome back to another broadcast. Today I want to talk about Captain America number 700, or more specifically, how writer Mark Waid wished upon a mushroom cloud and it came true. Now, before we get into this, I would like to cover the cover of this issue and how ridiculous it is that for Cap number 700, he's off in the background, little figure back here, and the real star of the show is the perfect purple-haired, reddish, whatever you want to call it, SJW woman. You got a little dog looking up to her. Hulk, he's off and who knows what he's doing. He's off in his own little world. Got Thing staring at the perfect SJW woman there. She's the real star of the future. Now we contrast that with Action Comics number 1000. DC obviously knows what they're doing. Put Superman front and center. Got the classic pose going. Metropolis. I've never been a huge DC guy, but this is how you do it right. This is how you show respect for your own characters. Mark Waid didn't want to do that. As I've said, he wanted to wish upon a mushroom cloud. He wanted to destroy the world. He even said so on his own Facebook page. I've said this before. This is so telling that he talked about it. His Trump allegory, everything about the election, the guy just essentially politically snapped. Said, I just want the whole effing world to burn down at this point. If I could push a button that permanently nuked all social media, I'd be on it like black on a bowling ball. And he was talking about this Magic the Gathering so-called harassment game or whatever the heck happened with that. I'm assuming that's tied in with the quarterling, all that kind of stuff. I'm not up on that, but you know the deal. Anyway, it's all politically related. And again, Mark Waid wants the whole effing world to burn. He got it. So for those who've been following this particular tale, we know that this terrorist organization, Rampart, he's been after them since decades and decades. And of course, after he fell into the ice, he turned into a block of ice again by this terrorist organization. Woke up conveniently 1 year after President Trump would have left office. Essentially, his stand-in, his fictional stand-in, King Baby, became a totalitarian tyrant. There was a nuclear blast, and that took everything out. And that's it in a nutshell. Now this is the culmination of that. He's got to figure out a way to undo everything. He's in the future, doesn't know what to do. He's got his Antifa buddies here, taking on the Soviet Trump stand-in thugs. They even got a little Christian cross type of, it's got like a sword / Christian cross. And they have, of course, they wear Republican red. And those are the bad guys in Mark Waid's world. Unfortunately, this could have been just your typical, well, I would have liked to be more than just your typical dystopian tale. But, of course, he had to put in the ham-fisted politics. And, again, Cap wants everyone to hold the line. He's got to fight back the totalitarians. And it doesn't work. At some point in time, Cap decides he's got to go back to the past to fix this. Initially, he didn't want to do that. Bruce Banner gets a hold of some old Fantastic Four tech, and he's got enough for one charge. And, of course, Cap has this budding love interest with the perfect woman. They actually never really had any chemistry whatsoever, aside from the fact that Mark Waid made her perfect. And so Cap, Steve Rogers, would want to be with her, I guess. Something along those lines. She says, look me up sometime, as he fades into the past. He wakes up right before he was captured by Rampart and put in ice. It was supposed to be, he was supposed to have like a week's time. He didn't. Goes into the submarine, confronts the future King Baby, the future stand-in Trump, and says if this blast goes off as he wants it to, he's going to be made, quote, even uglier. I didn't even get into the early part of the book where Mark Waid he starts talking about the quote. Says you can't just slapdash a 250-year-old constitution written by a bunch of, quote, wealthy white landowners. Someone had to step up and take the reins. The reign. So, again, I could talk about that for an hour as well. Kind of interesting. Mark Waid, guys like him never mentioned the fact that if those wealthy landowners failed in the revolution, what would have happened to them? We know they would have been executed. They would have lost everything. They could have, if they wanted to, just sat on their butts, sat on their plantations, doing their things, living the good life, drinking tea, and just doing their thing, but they didn't. They risked everything. But guys like Mark Waid never want to acknowledge that sort of thing. They don't want to acknowledge just how miraculous it was that the United States won the Revolutionary War, went on, survived the aftermath of that. It's actually, again, it's quite miraculous that the United States came together as it did. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, the future cap goes back. Now, his current self, this is kind of interesting. Unfortunately, again, the politics kind of ruined the interesting aspects of this tale. The current cap is in ice. The future cap is trying to stop everything. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. He risks his life. It's kind of interesting, again. And the blast goes off. Now, we know that blast could change you into different things, so maybe he survived. We don't know. So that dovetails nicely with a conversation that I saw in Diversity in Comics Twitter feed today, where they were talking about the downward spiral of the comic book industry. This guy wanted to say that diversity and all of us are cherry-picking factoids that suit, quote, your trollish narrative. I'm assuming he was also talking about that Umbrella guy and all the great work that he's done in terms of the quarterly reports. He says, thinking creating stories is a customer service job is why you'll only ever be adjacent to the entertainment industry and a hack. So you got that? Even though guys like Mark Waid could write hackish, weirdo Trump allegories just like Nick Spencer before him, Diversity in Comics, John Malin, Brett Smith, those are apparently the hacks. If you even go broader out into the movie, the Hollywood, you have guys like Steven Spielberg saying, maybe we should make Indiana Jones make Indiana Jones a woman. Then you got Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. Ask me about my feminist film agenda. The Force is female. Yeah, they're not the hacks. Apparently, guys like Diversity in Comics are hacks because they just want to find a way to both simultaneously please themselves artistically, but also give something to the customer that the customer wants as well. These guys have it all wrong. That's why Jawbreakers, Lost Souls, graphic novel, the Indiegogo campaign, in not even 2 days, it's raised over $43,000. That's insane. For someone who's apparently a hack, that's a lot of cash. And he's got 21 days left on the campaign. My point is this is where the future lies if guys like Mark Waid, guys like C.B.Cebulski don't want to listen to what we are saying. The Comicsgate community, the Save Comics community, actually understands that there is a proper balance between doing what the artist feels is necessary to get his voice out there and get his vision out there, but also understanding that there's a give and take between the artist and the customers within the superhero genre and the comic book industry. If you're telling good stories like this, you need to work with the customers. And if you think that we're just supposed to swallow whatever you shove down our throat, especially if it's stupid political hackery, that's not going to happen. So that's about it for now, guys. Thanks to all my Patreon members. Thanks to all my subscribers, new and old. I really appreciate it. I'll be back with at least one more video this week. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you soon. See ya.